There's a question, right? The COVID. Everyone holds up the COVID season, the kind of like Baltimore, isn't it? Don't mention the COVID season. But that squad looks stronger than the current squad.
See when Graham was see when you were listening there, Graham, I was thinking to myself,
that team did not struggle to score goals.
And
keep them out. But in terms of front options, it had Griffiths Edward, backed up by Ayeti and Patrick Klamala. Right, that's the 4 strikers. It had, Elanusi as well, Ryan Christie, Tom Rogic. A lot of firepower. The problems they had was more defensively. They didn't have in the centre half. Obviously the kind of Shane Duffy didn't work, and they were playing Beaton in there, and but they had Chris Ayer and Frimpong. They did a lot. That team to me, I don't know. I think that's certainly in terms of goals. They didn't struggle to score goals that season. They had a lot of silly games, and they beat 3-2 and 2-1 and all that, and 4-3s, and I think they lost 4 goals in Europe quite a few times, didn't they? AC Milan and Sparta Prague.
It was the Barkas factor as well, Mick Barkas, who just couldn't.
So they had problems at goalkeeper and centre half, and I say, who's the left back called again? Laxalt, Diego Laxalt. He wasn't up to much. So the problems at left back, but in terms of scoring goals, David Turnbull could score a goal.
You would take that. You would take that team over now in terms of firepower, wouldn't you? Definitely.
Well,
I would anyway. I
think, in Cham, middle of the park as well at that time. That season, I think, was a weird season. And listen, until they got taken at Christmas and they dropped points here and there, but they'd also lost 3 games, remember, in terms of the COVID stuff. They'd lost 3 or 4 matches they had in hand, and then they started dropping points in those games in hand. And so the gap was 13, 14, 15 points, but it actually could have been only like 5 or 6 if the games in hand were won. But then when they got to games in hand, the gap was so big, and then they lost a couple of them. And that's when it became untenable and it all kind of unraveled again. So that's a weird season. But this current team, you could see the problems coming that season, because there was for the first chunk of the season they did actually all right, and they were doing okay. But a lot of late winners and a lot of kind of games they kind of edged out. I remember a couple of kind of wins at Murn Levy and all that stuff, and they edged out late and all that stuff. You knew that you can't keep this up. Happening again this time. There were a few late winners this season, and people love these late winners and they celebrate them, but they're a sign that there's a good bit of fighting spirit in the team. Yes, a good desire to get a result. Yes, if that happens now and again, happening time and time again, it's a sign of structural problems, because that can't be maintained. And it happened to Aberdeen last year. At the start of the season, they had a lot of late goals and then it fell apart. This year, Celtic had a few late goals. It's actually masked how bad it's been. And now we're kind of starting to see how the summer of discontent in the window is now manifesting itself. And I think there's major problems in the pipeline. And where it goes, I don't know. People now, I don't know what Graham thinks. There's even, people talking about the manager. Does he get sacked?
Well, Mac, if it does, like anything, nothing seems feasible until it gets, and there'll probably a few bad results to the question truly been asked. And
listen, the Celtic are 8 points behind in October. If they're 8 points behind Rangers in October, does the manager get bagged? Probably, because it's Hearts it wouldn't happen, and because of we talked about the reasons why they're at this point. A lot of it's nothing to do with the manager, but he's getting exactly.
But in like the Honda Civic comment, these things, if the results keep up, moods can change quickly. But if let's just jump ahead a bit. If it did happen, I'm telling you what, that's not a club legend or anything else that could say. They would need someone absolute wild card to get them out of this. This is a proper Reno Gattuso style. They would honestly, that's the only thing that would help them escape, because it feels like such a malaise. This is the work I like Mick's talking about, these transfer windows that have gone awry, and what palpable just like fan just ire at the board that's just all erupted at one point, and then a product in the pitch that isn't. It would need someone that's got if someone's got a way of putting these players together to get goals, and fair play, but I just don't think it would need to be a proper firefighting option. That's the thing. It can't be, and obviously Neil and Dunfermline matter in the past, it's been a go-to, but there would have to be someone completely outside the box. It would need to be, and I don't really think that's the Celtic board's MO either, so it feels that's not the way they do things, is it?
mean, surely they can't sack Brendan Rodgers, surely.
Nah.
Well, with that, I'm saying, Mick, as well, that in the next couple of weeks, if these results, you know yourself, a poor result against Graz, 8 points against, if it does, it feels that's the way they would. Then,
But those in isolation, you would think that should put the spotlight on a manager.
Yeah.
But every time you do that, you can't get away from the kind of the reasons why they got to this point.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been saying for months and months before the window closed, we need quality, we need this, we need that, and never got it. And well, how that transpired will eventually come to light. And I know there was issues in terms of the recruitment process and the players put forward, and maybe he didn't like a lot of them. He wanted a higher level, but you can't really blame a guy for wanting better, but then them not delivering better. So anytime you do put the manager under scrutiny, which I think is rightly by the way. I mean, I think there is aspects of the way they've been playing. I think you can scrutinise the manager, but everything all goes back, doesn't it?
yes.
All roads lead back to the recruitment. But you've now got a club that the board and the fans are at loggerheads. The board and the manager, I mean, are parts of the board or the hierarchy and the manager are no longer seen eye to eye. The squad is malfunctioning on the pitch at every level. And now you get the manager calling the players under civics. Every single level is malfunctioning at the moment.
I think the mitigating part here for Brendan Celtic is the fact is that it's so near the end game potentially of when the contract ends that